Welcome and let's talk Africa. Democracy and peaceful transfer of power is not always a solution to all of our problems in Africa. However, Zambia and Malawi have a lot of good things to teach us. After Zambia gained independence, Kenneth Kaunda became the first president. After being in power for some 2 decades, he became the second African head of state to peacefully hand over power after losing elections. This was something amazing. We have seen many cases in Africa where presidents refuse to hand over power and they end up being removed forcibly, which ultimately doesn't work well for them, for their families, and for their country. So, Your Excellence, the late Kenneth Kaunda, I salute you. Frederick Chiloba became president for 2 terms, but he tried to go for another term. Thankfully, the Supreme Court in Zambia refused. And this is another problem. African president, please serve your terms and leave. Stop this game of trying to change the constitution so that you can stay a little bit longer. Look at history. It ends up causing problems. It's not worth it. And then in Zambia, we had Levi Mwanawasa, who governed from 2002 to 2008. Then we had Rupia Banda, who governed from 2008 to 2011. And then we had Michael Sata, who governed from 2011. He died in office after governing for only 3 years. And then we had Guy Scott, a white man, who was the acting president for a few months. Then we had Edgar Lungu, who has been president from 2015 until right now. Zambians just held elections, and it looks like Hakainde Hichilema is ahead in polls. And if everything goes as expected, he will most likely become the 8th president of the Republic of Zambia. I would like to commend the political leadership of Zambia over the decades after the independence. They have conducted their political processes with dignity. There has been ups and downs, of course, but they have done much better compared to many other African countries. Your Excellency President Lungu, it looks like you are planning to contest these elections. And of course, it is within your constitutional rights to do so if you believe that there are credible reasons why the elections were not free and fair. If you choose that path, please keep in mind that it can lead to unnecessary violence. So this is obviously not a decision that you will take lightly. And Mr. Hichilema, please continue this whole process with grace, with dignity. Both of you often cite the Bible, and this gives us a lot of hope that you will actually live up to the standard that you profess. Please keep in mind that Zambia has been a blessing, not only to the Zambian people, but to many Africans from the surrounding nations who have been at war, and they have been able to find home and peace in your country because your country has been able to hold it together. We as Africans from all over the place, we are proud of you as leaders of Zambia and as Zambians. Keep shining that light. Malawi is another country that serves as an excellent example of judiciary independence. It's very sad in many places in Africa that the Electoral Commission isn't partial. It isn't objective. It is often in the pocket of the ruling parties, and they use it to rig elections and win. And when that doesn't happen, then they use the judiciary to decide the cases in their favor. However, in Malawi, we know the case of the former president, Peter Mutharika, who won the elections. But in retrospect, the Malawi Constitutional Court reversed that victory and annulled the elections. And the elections happened again. Peter Mutharika gracefully accepted the defeat, and the new president, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, was sworn in. Leaving office after defeat is not actually defeat. It's an act of grace, it's an act of courage, and it's an act of patriotism to the country. At one point, the Kenyan Supreme Court also annulled the elections. the elections that President Kenyatta had won. New elections were called in and he still won. This independence of the judiciary branch of government, it is something that we need to have all over Africa. Let freedom and democracy rule in every country of Africa. Thank you, Malawi. Thank you, Zambia. African leaders, African people, let us learn from these two great nations.